morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Guess who's back? It's been a long time. I'm going to retreat this. It's been a long time. How's everybody been doing, man? It's been a hot minute since you've seen the old-fashioned show. Been almost about a week because, this time last week would have been my last show. And then Wednesday had to go handle some family business and obviously did the Overreaction Monday show yesterday. But this is our show. This is what we do. This is you and me. Mi familia. Look at you guys. Glad that everyone's back. Glad everyone's in the chat. I hope everyone has been doing extremely, extremely well. Super excited the things that are going on. And Rodolfo, you're absolutely correct. When I leave, all hell always breaks loose. Now, typically, when I leave in the summer, that's usually when you guys get recruits. My list is pretty darn solid. I'm just gonna say my list is pretty darn solid when I leave, as far as getting 5 stars, the Arch Mannings of the world. Like I go down the list. I'll pull that out at some point. But when I leave, good things happen. Well, I'm just trying to let you know. I don't get to leave a whole lot, but when I do try to leave, all good things. That there. And yes, was when I was on I was on vacation when Bond committed. Absolutely. I'm telling you, good things happen, baby. Good things happen. I'll go down the list. I'm gonna go down the list in a second of all the things that happened. I tweeted it out. I'm gonna go down the list of all the things that have happened since I've been gone. But yeah, it's been good, man. I feel good. I've been had to go down to Mexico. I think I guys told you that my son's mom just decided about 1.5 years ago, my youngest son's mom, to just move down to Merida, Mexico, and wanting to change her life. Not Mexican, but she was just a person that, was like, she's Black. She's part of the Black expat community down there. She wanted to try something different. So she went down there. My son had full-time custody of my son for about 1 year. And then, we decided, let's see what happens. If he goes down there, we'll switch it up half and half. And so he was down there a little bit during football season. Now he's back here. So I had to fly down there and get him, spend some time catching up with him. We did Christmas. That's kind of crazy. We did Christmas on Friday. I had to keep up the tree and all the decorations for him. But we did Christmas presents on Friday. When he finally got back, I got back with him. And we were able to, we had to do back to school shopping, meet the teacher, just make up for lost time, So, but I'm getting him settled in back into a little bit of routine. This is the routine that we need to talk about. So let's get into this. My boys are 11. JD Hack, I got an 11-year-old. He just turned 11 at the beginning of January, and 5.5. And Unc is 50. So you do the math. Yes, you do the math. So let's see. So when my youngest son graduates from high school, that means I'm 63 years old. Who's pushing me? Who's pushing me to that graduation ceremony? Who got me? Oh, no, I'm actually doing good. Went and actually got my annual exam about a couple of weeks ago. Upson's great health. Got typical stuff that Black folks got, pre-diabetic, need to cut down on the hot carbohydrates, cholesterol just a little bit smidge high. But outside of that, it's good. We good. Outside of that, just remember, only the good die young. So I'm going to live a long time. Let me see who is in the chats this morning. Let me say what's up to everybody who's here, who's early, that's in here. Good morning to you, Text Guy 2, hitting that #1 spot. I see you, Text Guy 2. Good morning to you. My main man, Sandman 23 rather. Exit Night into Light, Mariana Rivera. Lewis Gaines is in here. Chris Bennett, the original OG of the super fans, is in here. Rodolfo's got his popcorn ready. He's got his Jay Witt jersey ready for the Senior Bowl. I feel you. My main man DC is in here. Good to see you, DC, as well. Let's get some nuggets. Just another fragrance reviewer is in this thing. Anthony is in this thing. Jaime Gutierrez is in here. Chris Nelson is in this thing. He said, finally getting a proper unk show. I've been going through withdrawals. I'm sorry, Chris. And I'm sorry I can't do 3 hours. I know you're disappointed that you have to do work at your job. It hurts us all, Chris. I promise you. We'll be all right. Binks, what's going on? Good morning to you. Robert, the other half of Bobby and Whitney, is in here. Tracy Williams, my dude, is in here. Catherine is in here. Good morning to you, Catherine. Rogue Shot, what is up? What's up, Rich? Look at you. Deborah is in here. Deborah, you're the one that had the concussion, right? How you doing? Like, how you feeling? I don't think it was Catherine. I think it was Deborah. Can't remember. It's one of the two of you. It's been a while. I forget which one of you two had the concussion and how are you doing right now, aka brain injury. Mark Ruiz, Brandon, Miguel Angel Diaz, que pasa mi tío? It's never too early to talk Longhorn football. My main man, Longhorn football edits, who I've been telling for weeks I owe him a return email. And hopefully I won't have to tell you for another 2 weeks. Money B is in the building. JD is in there. He goes, OB Live, always on that CP time. You know what? You're so disrespectful. So disrespectful. So disrespectful. Yet you're so accurate. It's not a stereotype if it's true. Yes, Rodolfo, I got you on that one. Zio_V is in here. Brandon is in here. Kevin is in here. Rodolfo, Aldridge has more 5 stars than Bo Davis. Rodolfo, you're so disrespectful. Do not disrespect my good friend, Bo Davis. Do not do that to him. Corey is in here. Corleone is in here. Brandon is in here. Good to see you as well. What's up, JD Hack? You said you're 43. You got a 7.5-year-old and a 9-year-old. Full-time single dad life. So I feel you. Hey, man. Single dads got to stick together. Single dads have got to stick together. I got a hack for y'all, all of y'all in a second. I'm gonna tell y'all about a cool app that I found too. JD, any polyps? No polyps, man. No polyps, no nothing. Hey, nothing. All is good. Overall, I'm a spitting image of health. My blood pressure, JD, 120/80. Woo! You see that number, baby? Yeah, you know, when you get older, like Rodolfo, Cotton, all you got young guys, you'll understand, like, you guys focus in on, like, can Cat Williams really run a 4.3 or 4.1? I'm like, can I get my blood pressure under control? Catherine, okay, so how is the concussion doing? All right, good, Catherine. I'm glad that's doing well, because I know you're going to, like, be driving and stuff like that, so glad you're doing well. Mike Torres. Oh, Mike, I got some good news for you. Got some good Austin FC news for you as related to your favorite goalkeeper. JD is in the house. I've seen that last couple of 3. Texas Yankee, Paul is in here. Yellow Belly, Stephanie is back. Good to see you, Steph. Brandon is in here. I know I'm going to mispronounce you, Harish. So give me the pronunciation again. And then Paul and JD. All right. Also, first part of the show is brought to you by my main man, El Presidente, Eric Sells Homes, DFW. If you are looking for a home in the DFW area, don't look any further than El Presidente himself. Listen, looking to buy, looking to sell, whatever it is, it's January, it's 2024. It's time to start thinking about these things. It's time to pre-plan. And if you aren't going to do it, but you know somebody else who lives in the DFW area, hook a man up. Hook up Eric Torres. You know who he is. He's a Longhorn fan. He's a supporter of all you guys. So make sure you hit up Eric Sells Homes, DFW. That's the QR code. No one does it better. Again, don't wait. Buy a house now. Who you competing against? It's January 16th. Nobody's buying a house. I saw somebody had an open house this past weekend in my neighborhood. I'm like, good luck. You know, you go in there, get yourself a house right now. You're trying to sell it. My main man, Eric Sells Homes. He's got you covered. All right. I got it. Harish. All right. Look at me being international. I'm good. I feel good about that. Blake producing in the background. So shout out to him. So, Oh my God, I'm gonna tell you about this hack I found for you guys, especially if you live in the Austin area. I want to share this thing with you, right? So there's this app that I want you to download. Okay, this is for everybody, and this is not paid. And I didn't get paid. I'm not getting paid for this. And there's no money of it. There's no money, but someone told me about this earlier in the week, and I have been using it this week. And I got, fellas, ladies, this thing is beautiful. I'm just gonna tell you, this thing is beautiful. Okay, the app is called. I probably should have told Blake to do this before the show, but it's okay. The app, and Blake, you should do this too, because you're a young single guy who needs good food. It's called Too Good to Go. TOO Good to Go. It's in the Austin area. Now, what is this thing? What are you talking about? So you know how like restaurants, supermarkets, whatever, they have like food that you can only have it out for a certain amount of time, and then they got to get rid of it and throw it away. So instead of throwing it away, right? What this app does is that you can get on there and you can order like the food, and it's kind of like a surprise kind of thing, and you spend like $5 from like name places that's kind of in your area. I'm talking about like a Tiff Treats. I'm talking about like HEB. I'm talking about Whole Foods. I'm talking about restaurants, Indian, Asians, like you name it, it's there. I'm talking about Too Good to Go. Just look it up. I've hit this up this week. I'm just gonna show you something. I know it'd be better if I would have done this the other, just kind of had it printed out. But so like last night, I went into it was like the HEB barbecue place. You guys know what I'm talking about? The HEB barbecue down there, man. This is what I got, right? So check this out. It's got the turkey, that smoked turkey. There's mac and cheese, that baked potato, whatever that bread is. Not quite sure what it is. Okay, all that. Picked it up. $7. $7. That's how much I spent for all that. Now they give you certain pickup times, and it's so funny because I went to pick this up and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna share this with everybody tomorrow, right? And so someone saw me. They're like, hey, what's up, Anwar? What's up, I was like, hey, what's going on, man? And he's like, hey man, so who you delivering for? I'm like, hey, hold on. I was like, what delivery? He's like, yeah, because I saw you taking the picture. I'm like, hey, hold on. I said, let me show you what this app is. Let me show you what I'm doing. I tried to just buy some little food there. And then I was like, so let's not put something out there that I said I make enough to pay my bills. So let's not go there. Let's not spread that one, right? And so and so I talked to him about it. It was like cool. Then like the other day, I went to this place up by it's called by Cedar Park, right? It's called like Perry Republic. I don't know if you ever seen this place, Perry. Anyway, so I ordered something off the app. Yeah, on Monday. Check out this delicious big bird right here. Check out that big bird and all that rice. And they made that fresh for me as soon as I showed up. It was for lunch. I picked it up for lunch. Now, how much I spent? Like $4.83. Okay, $5. So, something called Scholastic Book Clubs. Anyway, so I'm just trying to let you know. This is my kids' school stuff that just came in. I'm just kind of let you know, if you looking for a come up and you thinking to yourself like, man, like, and you want to kind of cut down a little bit on your expenses and your food and this and that, and have some fresh stuff, and they have all kinds of different things on there. I'm just saying, unsolicited. I just want to let y'all know about that app. That's it. But just for somebody's going to help you, especially if you're a student and you're kind of on a budget. That's where you need to go. All right, just go ahead, and that's it. All right. So for those of y'all, let's do some catch ups. So we're doing some catching up here. Jason Suchomel will be here at 9:30. So just so you guys know, he'll be giving some recruiting updates, things that are going on in the recruiting world. So get ready for Jason at that 9:30 hour. For those of you guys who were a little bit worried, you a little bit worried. Kenny said, I'm supposed to keep the app a secret for us. No, you guys are family. I share with my family. I don't care. I'm not the kind of person. I want to see everybody do good. I want to see everybody eat. I want to see everybody be successful. So I want all you guys to go in there and get something. I'm not that. I won't be that person that does something like, oh man, I'm good. I want to be the name that helps everybody else. Catherine is called Too Good to Go. TOO, good to go. Is this that's exactly where it is. I wish I could just do a whole infomercial on it, but TOO, good to go. Got like $10 million. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna save some money, get some really good food for a fraction of the cost. Y'all can thank me later. Y'all can thank me later. You'll be like, oh, I love you. And I love you too, even though you didn't say it. For those of you who were worried, just worried, clutching your pearls, clutching them. What's up, Lamar from Little Rock? Can't wait to go back to Arkansas this upcoming season. Can't wait to go to Arkansas. Love that. I had a good time out there. I don't know. People gave it a hard time. I had a good time in Arkansas. Stayed outside of Fayetteville, but it was a really good time. Anyway, you guys who were worried, clutching your pearls over Johnny Nansen. Oh my gosh, is he going to potentially leave? Grand opening, grand closing, all that kind of stuff. Like, oh man, is he out? Is he gone? He just got here. Arizona's got a head coaching position. Is he going to be the dude that's gone? And then come to find out, nah, psych. Because reports started coming out last night, especially from shout out to The Athletic, who put out the reports last night, that San Jose State's Brett Brenneman has emerged as the target to become the next coach at Arizona. As reported on The Athletic, what they had said was the 50-year-old former Arizona grad assistant was a finalist for the Arizona opening 3 years ago when the school hired Jed Fish. Brennan is coming off his best season at San Jose State in 2020 when the job came open last time, as the Spartans were 7-1 and finished ranked number 24, stabilized the program, blah, blah, blah. So it looks like that Brett Brenneman will end up being the guy. Therefore, you don't have to necessarily worry about Nansen leaving. Like I said, grand opening, grand closing. Good morning, Blake. Blake May, by the way. Good morning, Blake May. And so you won't look like that won't be a worry. That won't have to be a concern for any of you guys. And then again, yes, now it's just all about could you poach that Arizona linebacker from there. Sark is doing a great job. I give him a lot of credit for being really selective, but going after the elite of the elite in the portal, going after impact guys. Like, we've come a long way, dog. We have come a long way since, hey, man, got to get a little Ray Thornton in here. Got to get a little Ben Davis in here. Remember, it wasn't that long ago when they were just picking up guys that were just guys. They're just there. Just somebody that can maybe do something, maybe not. And it's almost like Sark is like, I said it. I think I said it on the show yesterday. Like, Sark now has realized the success of the transfer portal and how it can really transform your roster and really add in some key dynamic pieces in order to make you better. And now my man's like that person who's winning in Vegas and you can't get him off the table, right? You never had them friends that you're like, hey man, hey, let's just go ahead and go. They're like, nah, I'm good. You're like, hey, but. And he's like, hey, give me that receiver from Houston. I gotta have that. Give me the Alabama person. I've gotta have that, right? Give me somebody. Give me Mukuba. I'll take that as well. Like, give me all that. Give me all the all-stars that are out there, right? So yes. No. Dance to the San Jose State. Don't do that. Don't create that weird cycle. don't create that. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad gig for him, but so I'm Nansen though. I kind of hang out here though. I kind of hang out here and I wait for a job. Honestly, JF, I wait for a job that I feel like is way more appealing than like a San Jose State job. I mean, nothing wrong with San Jose State or anything like that. But why don't you come here, build up a little bit more, be under Sark, and then go to a job that really moves the needle as opposed to taking something just to take something. Like that would just be my thought process on it. Not his, but just my thought process on it as far as that is concerned. But yeah, Sark has been really, pushing it there. As you guys may or may not know, there is he's obviously the Stanford tight end, Ben Urasek, says he's going to be visiting Texas this upcoming weekend. I had heard that early on Monday before I got on the show, and that was a possibility. Reports come out a little bit later that actually did happen. So it wasn't my report, so I kind of feel a little crappy about that one. But that was a little kick in the nuts, but I'll be all right. But he seems to be, from what I can tell, he seems to be the top tight end target in the transfer portal, from what I can tell. I know Alabama's Amari Niblack is there. I know that he's out there. But I think the sense is from folks is that that might be something that doesn't happen. But Urosek seems to be that thing, that person that they're really honing in on trying to get. And I think a lot of this comes with them trying to really, really, really build an offense around Quinn Ewers and give him a lot of weapons. And look, it's one of these. This is this interesting part of where we are in the evolution of the Steve Sarkisian program. And again, this is something that there's the good and of what in the bad, but what everyone has to get used to, right? Which is because of the success that you're going to have, right? So you start thinking about the Bamas of the world, the Georgias of the world, right? The success that those programs have, right? And again, we'll get into the Nick Saban thing in a second. What happens is that you have turnover. And you have guys that are going to leave, but you're also going to have guys going to come in and compete for jobs like every single year. And you're going to have guys who are going to be top recruits out of high school. And you're going to think, like, that's great. And guess what? They're going to bring in someone from the transfer portal, and everybody's competing. This is not for the weak. This is not going to be a participation award program anymore. This ain't I-9. This is not going to be the I-9 of college football where you're just here long enough and eventually you get to play because there's no one better than you. Sorry. It's going to be every single year. You're gonna come in, and then they're going to bring in a bunch of people that year, and then some people the following year, and all that. And every year will be a competing year. The guys will really have to fight in order to get playing time, but that always inevitably that makes a program better, right? It makes the players better, and it just sets a standard of excellence. So, so it's one of those things. It's like they can say, all right, cool, we're cool with the tight ends that we have, or they can say, you know what, we need a higher level tight end. We just do. And he seems to be the person that they view as a potential upgrade in that position, with being able to rotate some guys in and out. So yeah, that becomes a guy. And the thing that I was told about Urasek when I was talking to someone on Monday about it was that what they like about him is just the level of consistency that he has, the level of consistency that he displays. Now, what I was told was that, Niblack, and I hope I'm saying that name correctly, is explosive, just explosive. Like he's an explosive kind of tight end. Urasek is more of the, just a consistent kind of guy that you know what you're going to expect and know what you're going to get. Now, he looks explosive to me because when I look at his film, I'm like, dang, that boy moving. Like you look at it, I'm like, oh, this dude cooking. Like I see it within him. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens and what that thing looks like. But he's going to be visiting this upcoming weekend. And again, a guy that they look at as a potential replacement to Jatavian Sanders. And so let's get real quick before Jason Suchomel gets in here. Since I've been gone, I tweeted this out yesterday. Man, I can't leave y'all alone for just no, just can't leave y'all alone. You guys just don't know how to act when I leave. You guys just don't know how to act when I try to take off just a couple of days. Try to take off just a couple of days, and then just a few. And then yeah, nothing moving the needle on the D-line, coach, as of yet. But we'll keep that again, eyes and ears out for that one. So don't worry about that, Will Henderson as well. So I leave. So here's the list of things that have happened since I've been gone. I tweeted this out yesterday. So I left on Wednesday of last week. Got on a plane, headed to Merida, right? Nick Saban retired. Bo Davis left for LSU. Quinn Ewers announced his return. Johnny Barrett announced his return. Steve Sarkisian got his extension. Dwayne Keenan announced that he was going to return. Isaiah Bond decided that he was going to join Texas. Hell, just for blanks and giggles, I could say the spring game was announced. Like, all of that happened within like 5 days. Why can't you guys just relax? Can't you just relax when I'm trying to enjoy a little bit of time? That happened there. Interesting, because I'm going to ask Jason about it as well to get his thoughts on Bo leaving and what that does or didn't do from a recruiting standpoint. I want to get his opinion on what the upgrades would look like for that position. Get his thoughts on some of the other news and notes that have happened, plus a look ahead at something. Oh, 420 spring rain. That's kind of cool. Hey, Blake, before I bring in Jason, specs, can we go ahead and do that? You want to go ahead and play that? Listen, it's Tuesday, and look, it's been cold for the past few days. You have not gone out. The kids have been sitting in the house for the past couple of days. They maybe are going back to school today. And so you need a break. You need a break. You need to warm yourself up. Go out to Specs today. The road should be better. It should be warmer today. Go out to Specs. Blake, let the people know what Specs got in store for them.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Cheers to you. I already know that that's where Jason is going to be this afternoon, and I'm sure he'll be camping out once he gets there. So let's go to our Speakeasy Lounge, and let's bring in Jason Suchomel, orangebloods.com, and let's talk recruiting. Jason, I didn't guess the hat. I did not guess the hat. I would have not. Well, we know you're not going to wear a Steelers hat today.
Not today.
We know that was off the table.
Yeah, that was. Hey, they put up a fight though after going down 21-0. So
yeah,
I didn't expect them to win. Not too terribly disappointed, but yeah, Anwar, your commercial. I may just pull up a lounge chair to Specs, dude. My allergies are killing me. My kids are driving me bonkers already this morning. Like, listen, they had 3 weeks off for Christmas break.
Yes.
We let them skip school the Friday before Christmas break because they're like, oh, it's a half day. I'm like, all right, whatever. They get a 3.5 day weekend, right? Because of the freeze and Martin Luther King Day. Now they all want to skip school today. I'm like, no, get your ass to school. I'm like, so I'm the bad asshole dad today because I won't let them skip school on Tuesday. Dad, we're just watching movies today. I'm like, well, good. Go watch movies at school.
Watch movies at the school. So the only reason I let my kids skip is because of the stupidly. There's a dumb Leander ISD rule, Jason, that says if your kid comes in late, they're still marked as absent.
Right. Yeah.
So my thing was, I'm doing the show at 9:30, and then school starts with elementary at 9:30, and I get done at 10. So I'm like, well, if I drop them off, they're still marked as absent. So what's the purpose of dropping them other than just getting rid of them?
Right.
But it doesn't count. So I'm the type of person, if it's not going to count, I'm not going to send you. So I just like, I'll let you go. It's this all because I don't, whatever happened to late, just being late? Why didn't they eliminate
Yeah,
that?
I don't remember if they have to be there by second period or something stupid. And the worst part is my oldest daughter's a senior and we're letting her skip because her first class is like track. She has track practice. She's like, we're not going to be practicing. So now my other daughters are pissed because we're letting the seniors skip, but not the other ones. So
Oh, you should
I'm
have
going to be
in the house. Okay.
yeah. And JD, I do not have the Rona. Trust me. I tested in the chat. He said, I sound like I have the Rona, but I have had allergies. I think going before Christmas, dude. And I think it's allergies and I just can't get over it. I'm popping these cough drops like crazy, but I'm hanging in there, man. So.
You actually, Jason, if it makes you feel any better, you sound absolutely horrible right now.
Well, I don't feel horrible. I probably sound worse than I feel. So.
Yeah. No. I mean, you don't look horrible, but you sound pretty damn horrific. I'll just be honest with you.
Well, I apologize for that.
Hope you feel better. Hey, Jason, let me do some catch up with you, and it kind of plays in a little bit of the recruiting thing. Bo Davis left for LSU. And your thought process to that was what, Jason?
Excuse me, long time coming. You know, that rumor has been floating around for a couple of months. It's gone back and forth. Will it happen? Won't it happen? You know, Bo was a tremendous developer of talent. The players really liked him. The recruits really liked him. But I'm not bashing the guy, but I think he's replaceable. If I'm being honest, Almar, he wasn't in what I would call an elite recruiter. You know, he could recruit guys pretty well. He would recruit big numbers of defensive line classes. You know, get 4 or 5 guys, but he really missed on some of the truly elite players that have come through the state. So guys that would wind up going to A&M or maybe places like LSU or out of state. So, you know, it's a loss. And, you know, Texas has had a stable coaching staff. So it's kind of new for Texas to have to go through these coaching changes on the defensive side of the ball. But I think Bo Davis is replaceable. I'm just curious to see who they're going to replace him with at this point.
When Jason, when you think about what they need to do, and I'm not saying for you to give me a name, right? Do you think that they need to have someone who's a quote unquote established recruiter, or can you go the Chris Jackson route, which is get someone from an NFL background who is not known for recruiting in college, but know that maybe you can teach him, help him develop that skill, and then maybe land a guy like a Ryan Wingo several months later, right? What's your thought process on the kind of mold of a coach they should bring in?
Yeah, I always would lean towards go get an ace recruiter. To me, that's where your program is built, being able to recruit high-end talent. You know, Chris Jackson was a little bit different because usually wide receiver is a place where that's kind of a recruiting position, right? You wide receiver, tight end, you know, you traditionally go get guys who are coaches who are badass recruiters. Chris Jackson didn't have any experience, but he also has Sark he can lean on, okay, as an offensive recruiter. And Sark does a lot of the recruiting himself, especially on wide receivers. So that was a little bit unique. I understood, you know, the decision there, but I think for defensive line, yeah, I think Sark needs to go out and get himself a guy who's an established recruiter, a really good recruiter, you know, a guy that can come in and, again, bring in some of these 5-star guys, you know, not just from Texas, but recruit nationally, recruit the Southeast now that Texas is going to the SEC. So my answer is pretty much always going to be, yeah, you go out and get yourself someone who's a known commodity as a badass recruiter.
From a recruiting standpoint, Jason, I'm kind of curious, what do you think? And we'll get into some real Texas-specific questions, but do you feel like the Saban retirement really opens the door to Texas almost overtaking what that program was able to do from a recruiting standpoint? I mean, we always saw Isaiah Bond. Obviously, he joins Texas as well. We already know that Steve Sarkisian obviously has been recruiting extremely well. But we also know that historically, Alabama's been able to come into the state of Texas and have some success, especially with the top guys here. Could this be like the changing of the guard? Could this be the thing that Texas needs to really not have to worry about Alabama recruiting again?
To some degree, yeah, I think so. And that kind of crossed my mind the other day. I mean, it's always been like Alabama and Georgia, right, on a whole other level. And then schools like Texas, just maybe a notch below them, and Ohio State's up there too. But, this certainly lessens the appeal of Alabama. Now, can Kalen DeBoer continue that role where Alabama is going to be an attractive option? We'll see. Out, in fact, on where Alabama just had, I don't have the name in front of me, but they just had a decommitment today from an offensive lineman. So, I mean, they're losing some momentum, of course. And, is it going to continue to trend down? I don't know. I think it probably will. I mean, Nick Saban, casts a huge shadow when it comes to recruiting. So, and it comes at a kind of an opportune time for Texas, right? They're moving to the SEC. They're going to start recruiting that area, including the state of Alabama, probably more heavily. Alabama, like you said, recruits Texas heavily. So I think this is, Nick Saban retiring just kind of creates shockwaves throughout college football and has a ripple effect, on the transfer portal and college, in high school recruiting all around the country. But I do think Texas, if you're asking me, hey, which programs does it impact most directly? It'd probably be Georgia, LSU, and then I think Texas is probably right there in that group too. So yeah, I think it certainly could help Texas in its recruiting efforts moving forward.
Yeah, Jason, because I know you said the wins are supposed to help. So, but the GOAT leading probably helps as well. All right, Jason. From a Texas perspective, there are some pieces on the table right now as relates to the transfer portal. I know you wrote about this in your 3-2-1, which I did read, Jason.
All
by
right,
the way. Yeah, well, yeah. You don't have to worry about me getting busted saying, I haven't read you. You're waiting for you to post it. You're like, I posted it yesterday. I'm like, so not getting busted. But there are some guys that are out there. We have Benjamin Yorsek, who's supposed to visit this upcoming weekend. We also have the other tight end out of Alabama, who's on there as well. Is Amari Nyblack. We also have Silas Bolden, and we have Kendrick Blackshire, and of course Jamar Muhammad. Take your time and walk me through everybody and where you think everything stands, Jason.
Yeah, the Alabama tight end. We're hearing he's probably not an option. I mean, we're keeping an eye on him because he's a tremendous player and was a tremendous prospect. But there's some things there where we don't feel he'll be a realistic option for Texas. The Urasek tight end from Stanford, that dude, he just doesn't talk, right? I've texted him multiple times. I think you have too.
Yeah.
Yesterday I texted him. I said, hey, pretty simple, right? I said, there's a report that you're going to visit Texas. I said, can you just confirm if that's accurate? All I need is a yes or a no or a thumbs up, right? And nothing. So, but there is a report that he's going to visit Texas. He visited Georgia. Both programs are replacing high-end tight ends. So they're both attractive options. They're both good academic schools. Texas probably a little bit better. Excuse me. Hope my voice hangs in here.
You're all right. You're all right. We're with you, Jason. We know you pushing through.
All right, man. He went to Stanford, so obviously academics are important. So, Texas had a Stanford punter transfer in. I saw him tweeting at Urasek last night. So, we'll see what happens there. I don't have a great read on that one. Silas Bolden, the wide receiver from Oregon State. He left the visit on Sunday. I talked to him literally while he was at the airport. Thankfully, his flight was delayed. I caught him at the airport, and he told me, hey, flat out, hey, Texas is my leader coming out of this weekend. He was going to visit Arizona and Washington, but with the little coaching changes there, that's up in the air. Talked to him again yesterday, or communicated with him again yesterday. Texas is still in a really good spot for Silas Bolden if the staff really pushes and wants that commitment. Kendrick Blackshire, the Alabama linebacker. Excuse me. Tough one to read. It's Texas and Ole Miss. I checked with people at Ole Miss. They don't have a great read on it. I talked to people who spent time with him at Texas on his visit last weekend. They felt like he had a great visit. He's from Duncanville, right? Everything about that one makes sense. I'm not necessarily predicting Texas, but if you're asking me if you're saying, hey, pick Texas or Ole Miss, I'd probably go with Texas right now. And Jabbar Muhammad's a guy that, as of yesterday, he listed Texas Alabama and Oregon as his top 3. He's trying to set up visits this week, make a decision this week. He's from DeSoto. His cousin Manny Muhammad is here in Austin. So you got to think if he comes and visits, I like Texas's chances there.
Yeah, now definitely there. Now let me ask you. Let me go back to your sec. In your opinion, from what you see, is he a luxury or a necessity as relates to the tight end room?
Sorry, I was typing something.
Okay, go for it, Jason. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's more. I'd say more of a necessity. I mean, they need a tight end. They've wanted a tight end in this portal class, right? Gunnar Helm's experience, and we've seen him flash what he's capable of. But they need some. They've got a lot of young tight ends on the roster, Anwar, but nobody who's at all proven other than Gunnar Helm. So, not only would he be I'm not saying he'd be a depth piece. I think Urasek would probably come in and be a starter or co-starter with Gunnar Helm. So, I think getting a tight end out of the portal, I would lean more necessity than luxury. I mean, is it going to break this offense if they don't get another tight end? No. I mean, Gunnar Helm's capable, and Texas has a lot of good receivers where they can all of a sudden, right, some of it through the transfer portal, where they can spread the ball around and probably absorb that loss. But getting another tight end would certainly, as it did with Jatavian Sanders, would certainly open some things up for Sark's play calling and for the offense. So I would lean more towards necessity.
Okay, Jason, real quick before you die, in 30 seconds or less, and people keep asking about Ryan Williams. Yeah. So just what can you tell us real quick before that?
Yeah, apologies again for the voice, dude. But Ryan Williams visited A&M last week on an official visit. He's coming to Texas, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. He's got Auburn the first weekend of February. He is going to now visit Alabama. That was all. He was committed to Alabama, of course. He decommitted from Alabama, said he wasn't going to visit Alabama. Alabama people thought, hey, they're out of the mix. Well, now the hire Kalen DeBoer. He says, hey, I like what DeBoer did with the offense at Washington. I'm going to give Alabama another look. So he's going to look at look at Alabama again. LSU might get a visit. He might squeeze in an LSU visit. So, it's pretty packed in here the last few weeks. I still think it's going to be, I think it's Auburn and Texas. I know there's some A&M people who feel like they really made a move last weekend. I just don't see it. I think as that visit fades away and he takes other visits, I think Auburn and Texas are the two main players. But I can't quite put a my finger on where to place Alabama in this one, right? So the DeBoer thing kind of shook things up. I mean, Alabama was almost out of the mix. Now they're back in it. So I don't know how big of a threat Alabama is right now. We'll see once he visits Alabama. I'd probably favor Auburn onward. I was told by some Auburn folks, they thought he was going to flip to Auburn before Nick Saban retired. That happens. That obviously opens things up. But, Texas gets him on campus next weekend. The staff does a great job with official visits. They get them on campus. They hit a home run. Stranger things can happen. So Texas is certainly in the mix. I wouldn't call Texas an outright leader. But, yeah, Texas absolutely has a puncher's chance for Ryan Williams.
Jason, get out of here. I appreciate you, Jason, but yeah, you're on the struggle bus right now, and let's just cut it short.
All right, thanks, my man.
All right, man. See you, Jason. Jason didn't fight. He didn't fight to stay around, did he? Poor guy. Listen, we were supposed to do another 15 minutes with Jason, and Jason is on death's door at this moment. So I appreciate Jason at least trying. I appreciate him at least pushing through as long as he could. But it was time to give him the pull for that's concerned. So let's do this. Let's do some buy or sell. Haven't done that in a long time. So we'll go do a break. Got some buy or sell questions. Why don't you put that there in the chat? And hopefully Jason goes to a walk-in clinic or something. Like, goodness gracious. Like, someone light a candle for Jason. That dude was ugh. All right, Blake, let's go ahead and do that. Put some buy or sells in the chat. We'll do that for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Take care.
We got super chats. We have a super chat coming in, but we also had this big news. Russ reminding everybody, yes, you did get Mukuba, and from Daryl. It's official. Andrew Mukuba has committed to Texas. Daryl and Russ, we appreciate you jumping in and throwing it in there. We did talk about it earlier. Catch, let's get back around to that. Somebody has a super chat about kind of a theoretical, hypothetical situation for Texas football. James, we'll get to you, but let's talk a little more about Mukuba now that it's official. Somebody in the chat said they think Makuba's got a lot of Michael Huff in him. Texas fans certainly hope so.
Well, I don't think that. Let's start with exactly who Mukuba is. 6 foot, 195, transfer from Clemson. He'll have one season to play. People keep on asking about when the COVID stuff's going to be over with. Well, this is it. He wasn't in the 2020 class. He's a freshman in 2021, 3-year starter at Clemson. He'll have 1 year of eligibility to play coming into this last season at Texas. Here's how he was rated. In terms of the portal, Rivals had him number 13 overall nationally. The Athletic had him number 14 overall nationally. On3 had him at number 21 nationally. 24/7 had him at number 14 nationally. So we're talking about of everybody that's entered the portal, he's somewhere between like a dozen to like he's a top consensus top 15, top 20 guy.
Right.
Rivals had him as the number 2 DB available in the portal. The Athletic had him as the number 2 DB in the portal. And both On3 and 24/7 had him available as the number 3 best DB overall in the portal. So it's like, well, could they have gotten somebody else? Was he the best guy? He's definitively one of the top 2 or 3 DBs available across the country in the portal. So Texas got a really, really good player here. I don't think he's like Michael Huff because, you know, what Mukuba does really well, Chad, he's a good tackler. He's got great instincts on playing football. You'll see him making plays to either side of the field. His ability to sniff out what's happening, certainly in run defense, is a strength. Again, a really good tackler, a really good just football player coming downhill. He's not a sledgehammer, and yet he's a guy that wants to make tackles. He's good in coverage, doesn't always at Clemson get matched up in a lot of man-to-man. He's playing cover 2, he's playing cover 3. He's basically a patrolling the field kind of a guy.
All right, and we are back. All right, Blake, let's go ahead and get him. I know a lot of them have come in over there. So buy or sell. Crimson is uglier than maroon. Ugh. I mean, I think Alabama's colors are pretty ugly. I think their uniforms are just ugly. I know it's historic, but I don't like them. But that being said, and I'm assuming that you're referring to maroon as to OU colors. Nah, maroon would be worse. Maroon's worse, right? I mean, there's one. If you see someone, maroon A&M. Oh, my bad. I don't even know their damn colors. Thank you, Blake. Still sell. Like only one is you see, and you have kind of like a reaction to. I don't think you have any reaction to when you see someone wear like Bama colors, right? You're just kind of indifferent. It doesn't affect you from a day-to-day perspective. And you had a really hell of a win against them this past season. I think the A&M thing is the thing that gives you the reaction, whether it's laughter, whether it's annoyance, whether it's judgment. Whatever that thing is, I think that's where we're talking about. So no, maroon will always be uglier. But the icy whites that the yell leaders wear, that's probably like the worst of all the uniforms. Just gonna be honest with you. He goes, here we got horns. Woo! You tested my literacy over here. Here we go, horns. Oh, I missed. I thought there was a T in there. That makes a little bit more sense. All right, here we go, horns. Thank you, buddy. I put a T in there. made myself look ignorant. Buy or sell. Texas with its recruiting class and portal moves is putting itself in a place to contend for an SEC championship and a top 4 seed in the 2024 for the CFP. Well, one, buy. Two, remember that the CFP expands. So even if they're not top 4, top 12 gets in. So Texas still is in a contention, should make the playoffs. Let's start there, right? And then yes, I mean they're absolutely there. Like they are built to last. And again, I think that the departure of Nick Saban really helps in that conversation. I really think the teams to beat in the SEC this upcoming season are going to be Georgia, Old Texas, Ole Miss, in random order. If it makes you feel better, Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss. If that makes you feel better, I don't want everybody to get mad saying, why'd you put us last? Like, I'm just saying in random order, those to me are the top 3 teams that are out there. I think Bama falls off. I really think they do. And I don't know what the board does at that program in the SEC without a quarterback who is phenomenal the past 2 years, right? So I need to see that, and his body of work, just go from Fresno State to Washington. Yes, I see the wins, but I don't know. The SEC is just a totally different beast. Recruiting expectations are going to be high. The expectations to win are going to be high. There's going to be a lot of pressure that's on him out there. So we'll see. So yes, I'm 100% with you. Will Henderson, good morning to you. Says, buy or sell. Texas defensive line determines our immediate success in the SEC. The question to me, Will, is that could you get away with an average offensive line and an outstanding offense? That's where I'm stuck on the fence at this moment. Could you get away with knowing, okay, you've got Bond, you've got Golden, you've got Jonte Cook, you've got good running backs that are going to be back there, CJ Baxter's of the world, the Jaden Blue of the world. You've got a good offensive line. So I know you're good on offense. And if you're just okay on a defensive line, could you be all right? Yeah, I still buy on it though. I still buy on it because the reason why Texas was successful this year was because of Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy up the middle, and that had a lot to do with it. So yeah, I'm definitely buying on that. The guy Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton, those guys need to take a huge step up over there. The Ethan Burks, of course, of the world. We got Barrett Sorrell. Like those guys have to go to a next level and be consistent impact players. So yeah, I'll buy that on you, Will. It's a very good question, though. Very, very good question. JD says Alabama, so deaf, by the way. Alabama will not experience a 10-win regular season within the next 4 years. I'll buy on that one. I will buy. Now, what will help Bama is the non-conference schedule, because they schedule a lot of soft teams. So you've got, for the most part, they're going to have 3 to 4 gimmies, but then they're going to have to go through the other gauntlet. And yeah, I think they take a step back this upcoming year. And then when they take that step back, I just don't know if they take that step forward. I just don't. Committing to Nick Saban is one thing, right? You went to Alabama for Nick Saban. This more than any other reason. That's the reason you went there. I went to Alabama for Nick Saban because I know I'm going to go pro. If Nick Saban's there, what's your real motivation to go there? And we'll see what happens with Kalen DeBoer, but I don't know. Kalen DeBoer hasn't been known as a recruiting ace. It hasn't had to have those kind of things. And with the transfer portal the way that it is, and the rise of Texas in the transfer portal, we know what Georgia's doing. I think they're an Ole Miss really killing the game in the transfer portal this year. If you're a recruit, I'll just be honest with you, and I'll put this to you out in the atmosphere. If you're in the South, right? If you're in that, the Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia-ish, kind of area, right? If you had a choice between going to play for Lane Kiffin or DeBoer, Where are you going? You're a recruit right now. You're a 2025 recruit right now. And Lane Kiffin's coming up in your room and saying, hey, man, like coming in your house and it's like, hey, I want you, Isaac, Working Man, Blake, JD Hack, right? Catherine, go down the list, right? South End Zone Queen. Who do you want to play for? Money B. Do you want to play Harish? Do you want to play for Lane? You want to go to Bama? I get the feeling you'd rather say, you know what, Lane, I'll go ahead and ride with you. I feel like a lot better about that. Let's do another one, Blake. Speaking of Blake, he goes, we will have a D-line coach this week. Buy or sell? I hate questions like this. I hate timetable questions. Because it's Tuesday. It's so much can happen. And I feel like things always happen towards the end of the week, right? And I always feel like these things, it's like a Friday-ish, Saturday-ish kind of thing that makes you want to do it. So, and that thing could happen overnight. But I'm going to sell on this one, Blake, and here's why. My gut tells me, just gut instinct at this in this moment, is that if it was a simple, if it was anyone in college, that person could have been had by now. And again, it's only been like a week, right? So I get that. Like, so there could be a process of going through it, but I feel like we're almost at a week where it probably maybe could have happened. So I want to sell on it right now, only because all the guys are on campus right now. There's no real sense of urgency at this moment. Now, the sense of urgency is that you might miss out on guys, but I feel like you already missed out on a top target. So there is like a little wait and see with that. But I don't think Sarkisian doesn't seem like a guy's going to rush anything just for the sake of rushing. So I'll sell on that one, Blake. But I'm going to tell you, very, very soft sell. Very soft sell. Extremely soft sell. Big Tex in the house. If Ryan Williams and Silas Bolden commit, it will cause some younger receivers to transfer in the next cycle because of too much talent in the receiver room. I mean, it's obvious buy, but I think if you are a young receiver, when they bring in Golden and Bond, you got to start wondering, like, okay, what's the future look like? Because they're going to be bringing in guys every single year here. You know, you're not just recruiting and competing against guys in your class, right? You're competing against guys who are, who are now in the transfer portal. You're going to lose. Yes, you're going to lose young receivers. That's going to happen. Okay. But you've also got to say that's the cost of doing business. That's where you get. That's where you got to get your head around that. That's the cost of doing business right now. You're running a successful program, right? You're clicking on all cylinders, and guess what? You're gonna have talent come in, talent go out. You just got to hope that the talent that goes out isn't greater than the talent that's coming in. So far, that hasn't been the case. So far, the talent that's gone out, as far as the transfer portal, has not been something that you looked at and said, damn, how are you going to live without that guy? Like, you haven't seen that. Like, you haven't had the Bond, Isaiah Bond, like, leaving, and you say to yourself, how do you replace that guy, right? The same with, like, an Adonai Mitchell. So, yeah, I agree with you. But, again, it's just the cost of doing business. The same thing's going to be with the coaches. It's just going to be the cost of doing business, and you'll be all right with it. Blake, do we have a couple more? Okay, sure. All right, we'll keep going for a little bit. I'm fine. ATX Big Rich. Good. Hey, Big Rich. Hey, look at you, man. Made me smile this morning. Good to see you. Buy or sell. With Quinn Ewers coming back and assuming he takes the next step, and how the wide receiver room is stacking up, this season's offense could be more explosive than last year's. Oh, I'll buy on that one. I'll totally buy on that one, ATX Big Rich. Absolutely, I'm going to buy on that one because, one, I'm not worried about Quinn developing a chemistry with his guys. He was able to do that pretty immediately with an Adonai Mitchell. So I feel like the work that he puts in, I think, that'll yield dividends. I think those guys are hungry. And I think there's been a level of expectation that has been established. I think Chris Jackson is a really good coach. I like the explosiveness that they have from the running back room. So I feel like you still can't zero in on the running backs because that will still kill you. I'm still a huge Jaden Blue fan, though. Not gonna lie. I don't. I know there was my JB24 fan club president. You really need to switch that over to the Jaden Blue and put him as you need to be his fan club president going forward. Because I'm sold on that young man. I'm just totally sold on him. And so because I know these running backs are going to be really good, yes, I absolutely think that you have a little bit of explosiveness that's there. And Rodolfo's guy, Jonte Cook, will be a guy that can take it to the house as well. And so that's no shade. That's no shade by any stretch of the imagination, but there is that. Let's do a few more, Blake. I won't keep you long because I know you got a long day. Shook ones. Bond cracks 1,000 yards, and Wingo has at least 20 to 25 catches. Buy on that one. Big year for Bond. Stays healthy. Big year for him. And Wingo, yeah, he's going to be a guy that's going to come in, and I think he's going to be that person that you look at that has an instant impact. I think he's a guy that's in the mix. I think he's a guy that we're talking about. Again, when I sat down and talked to Chris Jackson about him, Chris Jackson told me about, he said, out of all the incoming freshmen, he told me that Ringo was the most ready to play, just the most ready to play, described him as a violent wide receiver. And so he's the guy that comes in and you look at it and say, day one, he's going to be pushing for PT. And look, we know what comes to Sarkisian. If you're that guy, you're that guy. Ask Xavier Worthy. Came in and became that guy instantly. So, yeah, Shook ones. I was 100% because they also got the quarterback taking the get on the ball. And that makes a huge difference as well. Blake, let's do like maybe two more. Okay. I don't know how many more you have. Art sees more than 2 series versus Michigan. Huh. Well, that scenario would mean that Texas is really far ahead against Michigan, and I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I know they're losing a lot, but to be far ahead, to put in March for 2 series, you've got to be, 3 to 4 touchdowns ahead at that point. Probably 4 touchdowns ahead when you feel like you have a little bit of wiggle room and you just hand off the ball. So I don't know if you're going to be doing that in Ann Arbor. That's asking a lot. So I'm going to sell on that one. I'm going to sell on that one, Frank Cruz. Buy or sell, Florida only wins 1 game next season. Hey, here's a hot take. I think USF by USF Bulls finished with a better record than Florida. There's my hot take as far as that is concerned. They won't. I think they'll win more than 1, but it's a struggle bus. It's going to be a struggle bus for the University of Florida for a while. That game looks totally different for me this now than it did when the schedule was previously announced. All right, Blake, let's do enough. That's enough for right now. Save those. We'll be back tomorrow. We can do some more buy or sell tomorrow, and we'll get that thing covered. So, hey, Jason Suchomel, please get better. That was rough. My man was, oh my gosh. If anybody needs to take the rest of the day off, please do. He needs to do that. Oh, hit like on this video, please. Hit that like button if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Please do that. And then check out the news show schedules that we have in store for you. Today, we still got House Divided that's coming on at noon. The crap bag, the infamous crack bag is coming at 2 o'clock, followed by the modcast. Oh, I'm glad he put that up there. I forgot about that. And then you can see what else is going on throughout the rest of the week. Football Friends will be back. Recruiting Hours is back tomorrow. The Outsider is there. So yeah, this is our new schedule, our new format. Still giving you OB live. Just little bit adding, subtracting, but overall still giving you all the people that you want throughout the day. And even though there's no Football with Friends today, you still get Alex and the Modcast today. So Alex will be there. And I'm sure he'll be. Well, does Alex have electricity yet, Blake? Is he? Okay, Alex has electricity. So he should be good to go. All right, y'all. So I guess I'll see you guys on the Modcast a little bit later on. So for Jason Suchomel, for Blake producing behind the scenes, I hope everyone has a good rest of the week. Come back, subscribe to the channel so you know exactly when the show gets started, even if we are running on CP time. And I'll see you guys later. You guys take care. Hey, let me say it like it was last, because one day it will be. Y'all